Now joining me with more on this is Mr. Parastus Nepolo, President of the Association of Heat, Ventilation and Cooling Namibia, as well as Gabriel Nghiinomenwa-vali, who is an economist at the ministry. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to GMN.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Lord.
Okay, let's get right into it. Now, it is said that to keep the global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius each and every year, according to the Paris Climate Agreement, emissions need to be reduced by 45% by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. Let's talk about the current rate of decarbonizing in Namibia. Let me start with you.
Yes, the country has a climate change policy in place and also had a mitigation strategy in place, which ran from 2013 to 2020. So that shows you the steps the country has taken. And also, if you look at our energy sector, we are pushing more to go on renewable, because this thing has to be done at the sectoral basis. Every sector has to step in. The government has the policy in place, as it indicated, in terms of mitigation and in terms of policies, but it's sectoral basis. And that's why we have the refrigeration and the cooling sector also taking it part or coming on board to reduce their emission on the other side. So now we just also require now every sector to step in, to come up with their own strategy, to come up with their own plan, which are now feeding in the country mitigation strategy or the climate change policies. So it has to be done at the sectoral basis. Now, because the private sector is the implementer, they are the one who are emitting. So now they have to feed within the national policies that we have. Yes. So that is where the country starts. At the national level, the country has done its part. There's policies in places, there's strategy in places in terms of climate change. And we have also institutions that are related to government like EIF who are already doing their part. So now we just need the private sector also to come in. And yes, I'm not an economist at the ministry, but consulting with the HVAC Association.
Very well. We draw that inference. Okay, now let's talk about the emissions that are currently being done in terms of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. What is the amount? Are we able to quantify the amount that is being emitted by these items?
Yes, definitely. I can just say the emissions is at our sectors, as refrigeration and air conditioning sector. It's not that high as before independence. After independence, we train our own refrigeration practitioners or technicians that were told how to handle the refrigerants, not only doing it by learning, but doing it by really studying it. We have really reduced, especially myself, when I came in the industry, there was an emission or a gas that had higher carbon, which is R12. But the one that were maybe intake of 2015, for example, the refrigeration technicians, they don't know about R12. They found it already removed or totally banned according to the policies. But now we have the one that is a threat to the whole globe, especially in Namibia, which is R22, refrigerant or gas, which we are now fighting to see to it that before 2030 or 2029 is totally removed. But it's plenty, we still have it a lot. But to say really the equipments or how the sector see to it that the emission is minimized, is that we have realized that we do not have right partners to see to it that the carbon in the sector is really minimized. Now, the reason why we pushed for this conference is to see to it that we attract international experts that can assist us with the right equipments to decarbonize, especially the practical ones, A-gas, the manufacturers of gases or refrigerants. One of our key presenter for tomorrow event that will give us a solution by coming up with the containers. They really want Namibia to be a sender at SADC, to have a plan to sponsor us or to give us the containers. And definitely the government and ourselves will organize the cylinders to see to it that when we recover the refrigerants from the equipments, either air conditions or refrigeration equipments are recovered and stored. As of now, we have a recovery equipment, but where to discard the refrigerant? We don't have any solution. That's why after at the executive level of SADC Refrigeration Air Condition Associations, we have then agreed to see to it that let's get the solution to discard or recycle those emissions. When we recover them, we must recycle them and reuse them again. AGES come up now with a solution as a critical partner to say that, no, if you have that challenge, we have the solution. So that's why we want to educate now the public. We want the public to come tomorrow, to come and listen, that from that conference, from tomorrow onwards, what will happen.
Okay. Now let's talk about, you mentioned the issue of climate change policy that we have as a nation and also the mitigating factors. But let's talk about the practical steps and actual other legislation that are actually being taken to decarbonize Namibia.
Like now for the refrigeration and cooling sector, we have a national cooling strategy, a draft, which I think the ministry is going to confirm tomorrow when it's done. And if you go through that draft, it lay out the practical things that need to be done by, let me say, the cooling sector in terms of decommissioning those equipment that are emitting ozone-depleting gases, in terms of training the people that are going to handle these gases, and also the ministry practically went in collaboration with NAMRA to make sure that any equipment that comes in a country, NAMRA know the specification, whether to stop it, to let it come in a country or not. So those are some of the practical examples that are going through. And also, if you look at our commitment, we say that we want to decarbonize by 2030 or by 2040. So if you look at our Harambee Prosperity Plan, we have a whole strategy, or in that Harambee Prosperity Plan, the government is so informed, like the institution like National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to come up with an environmental sustainable plan for the country that the private sector has to adopt it to, where the private sector have to report or to give practical things that they are doing when it comes to the environment, when it comes to their operation, how it affects the environment. Those are practical things that are embedded in our national plans that guide or that tell the private sector the way to go forward. Because everything that the private sector have to feed in what the country decide. And it's in the Harambee Prosperity Plan. While for the refrigeration and cooling strategy, they have a whole strategy in place that set out the practical example of how to decommission, what the type of gas that they have to use, and the training of everyone who is going to handle any equipment or the gases that are within, that are going to be used in the country or in the economy.
You mentioned the issue of NAMRA. You talked about new interventions and these new technologies that you're referring to. Let's talk about those technologies that are helping to decarbonize, and obviously, especially that they're affecting the industry and certain industries and transportation. What are some of those interventions that new technologies that you're referring to?
Yeah, definitely, both air condition and the refrigeration, they have introduced new technology that are first energy efficient and ozone friendly equipments. On air conditioning, we have air conditioners that are called eventer type. Eventer type is actually contain a lot of features that means that equipment is digitized. It's contain new gases that are called 290. As much as those gases are ozone friendly, they are highly flammable. Therefore, my colleague here, Gabriel, mentioned about training. It's very risky as the end users, which is innocent citizens, that are buying fridges in their houses just to start, domestic fridges. That are buying, they don't know what gas is contained. Now, when you buy such a gas and your fridge at your house is broken, you call anybody to come and repair your fridge, which that person sometimes they're just knowing by learning. Yeah. They were not trained about those refrigerants. Now what will happen is if you store or you keep that domestic fridge or refrigerant at a very confined place, it's risky because that guy you don't know whether that gas is flammable. He will just start braising and your house is under fire. Yeah. So that's how risky it is, and that's how we say refrigeration and air conditioning is actually a sector that is very, very undermined, but it's very important. Remember, even I knew the reason why we are connected now on the national television is because of the plans, the equipments that are cooled down. Your equipments that are operating technology need to be cooled down at a certain temperature. If refrigeration air conditioning is not existing, that means technology is not existing. So it's so important sector. Even from domestic fridge, and when the child is born, the milk need to be refrigerated.
Correct.
And when our life is ending,
part of our daily lives. So exactly.
When we are ending, then we are on mortuary. Definitely, it's refrigeration.
Correct.
Your medication, when they are transported, it's refrigeration. So this is an important sector that we use every day, and hence, it's as much as it's important, it's also having its own risk, like I mentioned earlier. The old refrigeration and air conditioning equipment that contain ozone unfriendly gases that is now R22. There are plenty, and they are mostly used by government.
Yeah.
And the government is the signatory to the protocol or the material protocol.
Definitely need to
we need to do a
transform.
lot. We need to educate. We need to lead disseminate information, but not later than now. But tomorrow's conference will make everything very clear.
Now, gentlemen, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but you have an event tomorrow. Can you talk about the time and place and where it starts? And is everyone invited, or there are specific invitations?
Yeah. Yes, the event is tomorrow, and he will touch on the event. Yes. But in terms of every sector, yes, we have invited everyone who is participating, because this sector is affecting everyone, from government to the mining to the telecommunications to the hospitals. We have invited all of those ones, and that the Nepolo can actually touch on the places.
Yes, definitely.
Briefly, please, we're running out of time.
Okay, no, definitely this event, this conference is a very, very big conference. It's also attract all the 6 member states. The executive of Refrigeration Air Conditioning Association, SADC, they will also be with us tomorrow. And the presenters are experts from SADC, like Igges, I said, and the trainer of the trainers, because we cannot train, we cannot invite always trainers to come and train our trainees. The trainers will come and train the trainers train out everybody. So all those guys will be there. Minister of Trade is the keynote speaker, this platform. NAMLA will present, National Zone Unit Department under Minister of Trade will present. Definitely, it is really an event, let me say, in a sectoral event that's first of the kind in SADC. So definitely, we invite everybody, but the space is limited to 100. Those that did not confirm, they must confirm today. I think we have only 15 spaces. But we will also have a link. Those that want to partake online, they will also be allowed to do that, because, I mean, this is a 4th industrial revolution. Yes, definitely. Maybe on the way forward, definitely what I'm saying is this.
Thank you.
Yes, this event, this will be my final remark. Definitely, this event, we cannot run business as usual. I mean, those that are in the space of refrigeration air conditioning business, they must see to it they protect Mother Earth by using the right procedures, by go under training, so that Mother Earth can also protect them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will have more than enough time to speak at the conference.
The
point of closure is that we only have one Earth, and we should do everything to protect it.
Yes.
Thank you very much for making time to join us, gentlemen, and we wish you a successful conference.
Thank you very much.